Well, this is the busiest I've ever seen this place, and this is the busy time to get here. It is exactly 8 o'clock. So I'm getting here along with most of the general public. The really serious people got out at 7, but I've already got a bunch of stuff in the van, so I decided I could be semi-serious instead. Well, this is what we like, lots of things in boxes. I see what could be a hall teapot there, but it's missing its cover. That white one would have had a cozy that went over it. Lots of pulleys. You know, I'm out of those. I might be able to use some of that.
If you want something old, you can always get right over there and check.
Hey, we like the people who've been here a while. Wow, some great iron wheels and stuff. It's big, but boy, it's nice if you've got the yard or a driveway to put it in. There's some cool stuff here. Good cast iron kettle, but it doesn't have a lid. I like the boxer. Well, this is a good sign. There's some neat old stuff in this space, and we just got going. Bunch of cute plants there. These folks have some older stuff. I see one of those 80s ergonomic chairs. This one's been used a lot, but they were a great idea. I remember they were really comfortable. I like this spangle glass here. Used to be a basket. That looks like a little Bristol piece from the 1800s. Very hand-painted. A couple of Fenton pieces. $5 on that seems all right. I like that one. Makes me want to see $10 on the basket. Okay. 5 for that. Let's see here. I like the shell pink. It's got a stain though.
I sell on eBay for $12, $15.
Yeah, that's about what I found too. How much is this?
I think I've got 5.
3. I'll take it for 3. Well, that was my first purchase, and that young lady there is Kennedy, and she is actually a viewer, and she just introduced herself to me. She said she collects milk glass, so I'm glad I didn't buy any milk glass out from under her. Well, one great thing about running into another collector at a show is that you help each other out. Kennedy collects milk glass, and I didn't have any tips for her because I just got here, but she told me that for the stuff that she sees on the channel that I like, I should be going to a booth over here, and that it's big and in the corner. So we'll start there. Oh, yes, and I remember why. If you hit him early enough, you might find something old and cool for $1. They have oceans of dollar tables. That's a nice older piece. That's broken.
It is.
Some Geisha girl. Oh, I see why she liked it. I bet she picked up some milk glass. There's a nice Westmoreland piece in the middle of a bunch of boring anchor hawking. Japanese dinnerware. But look how much of everything they have. They must just clear out storage lockers. They save up for this show. Then they just bring it all. And you sort it out. This is rather old. Probably 1910. Very pretty. Again, for the price. Manhattan tray in the back there. A little bit of depression glass. I mean, these are all amazing prices. These are categories I already have enough of that I don't need to buy more right now, and yet it's so tempting because you're going to make money all day long at those prices. And that's kind of cute from the 70s. Somebody handmade it. Yes, I know, it's $1. Okay. A mop or a sign holder. That's actually a pretty clever idea. Oh, 1982. Ethel May from your sis. Just because those are butterflies, I think this would probably sell. And it's $1. Lincoln Logs and Tinker Toys and a little bit of enamelware, but not in great colors. I'll bet that would sell online. I might do better at $1 in these little cases here. See if we have any interesting political buttons. Looks like some reproductions. Ooh, Alf Landon, that's old. It's not a reproduction, which it's not. I will take that. Goldwater is always good. Wallace for $1. This one's a reproduction, and it says so right on the rim. That's one nice thing about the 60s reproduction. Same with that one. Adlai Stevenson and Kefauver from the 50s. Cute little pocket mirror, not in great shape. with this flapper looking woman on it. I think again for $1, I think that makes it. Oh, I have a guy in Florida who likes these dumb things. I think I have to get that too. There's a whole bunch. They're all the same. One will do. Lots of old photos. I know some people would spend a lot of time going through these, looking for interesting folks. A bunch of old sporting magazines. May all be 90s, in which case they're not so interesting, but old catalogs are money, especially for $1. There's JCPenney's in the 90s, Sears, early 90s, Sears Hardware, Sears Style. I wish they went back just a little further. 80s fashion is starting to come back. This is 80s, but it's in terrible shape, and that's 94. So, you know, they're still worth it. It's just, they're big, they're heavy. You don't want to lug them around. I know they're here. Wow, if I needed hardware for some old piece of furniture I was fixing, I'd be very excited right now. And lids and drawer pulls, all sorts of useful stuff. $1 for the Remington that looks like it's stuck and needs some work. The platen turns. But yes, this satin, bad storage for a long time, and the keys don't really work right. Food covers, those are new. Cigar boxes, those are new. Some things are not a bargain, even at $1. Bunch of Notre Dame bottles. You never know where people shop and what they'll end up with a box full of. United We Stand, various state 7-Up cans. These were a very annoying period where they weren't all aluminum, but they weren't steel either, so you couldn't recycle them. It was a terrible idea. This is not the era of beer can that sell particularly well, but there are some obscure brands in there like Wiedemann's that are not around anymore that might be worth picking up for $1. And loads of books. Luck and Pluck. That's a book of some fame amongst children's book people. Ooh, I think those are 2 Hardy Boys down there. At $1 a piece, I would take those. Oh, stains. Well, these are the older, one of the older covers, but I think this one might be all right. Copyright 1927. As sons of Fenton Hardy and amateur detectives of some ability in their own right, hey, they ended up with a TV show. I'll take that. Being a subscriber is really helpful to the channel because it lets YouTube know you like this kind of content, and then they get the word out to more people, and we get to share this really, really fun antique and vintage world with everybody. Now that scouting has changed, some of these old scout handbooks can be pretty good. This one's pretty beaten up, though. Bobbsey Twins, that's a little damaged. Lassie, come home. Condition isn't great on these, but on the other hand, there's some interesting titles. The Boy Hunters of Kentucky, Captured by Indians. Wow. There are also some reference books, including this one, the Garage Sale and Flea Market Annual. This was a compendium that went along with Schroeder's. It was for newer things that younger people were starting to collect. Treasure Craft and Pottery Craft, as contributed by me, which was nice. They gave it a nice big listing. They had a semi-good photo of a hard-to-find Sprite vase, and they showed a little bit of each of the lines, so I thought that was really great. And for $1, I think I'll take this. Oh, here we go. Christmas at Grinder's Switch. It's a little bit spotted. Hi, how are you? Well, interesting. I just met a friend of mine who says she's going to come back here and sell on Monday, but she's shopping today, which is something I've always thought of, is go to a show, shop at hard the first day, and then set up with the stuff that you bought and see how much money you could make on it. If I had a local show I could just roll in and do that with no fuss and no preparation, I would try that. I think that would be fun. There's enough stuff in this flea market. I mean, just this dollar space. You could pick out enough out of here to sell a few $100s over the course of the weekend without even trying. Because there's clearly stuff that's worth more than $1 in all of this. It's just their way of making it fly. Well, that was fun. She thought I was selling on Whatnot because everyone's trying to run around flea markets and sell to people on Whatnot. while they're shopping, which is kind of cool in a way because it's like you get to go shopping with them. And someone did that at my estate sale, and it was great fun, and they sold some of my stuff for me, so I didn't mind that at all. On the other hand, it seems like it's kind of hard to organize and takes a lot of time. But meanwhile, I am not on Whatnot. I am here to film this so that you can all see what I'm seeing and have the experience with me. I like this old piece that you would have served the cream from. It's got its legs, which is a nice factor. Now, this is a flea market, so there's going to be lots of new stuff. Lots of stuff where they were able to buy overruns or something that fell off a truck or whatever. And, you know, people need this stuff too. But I'm more interested in stuff like this because it's just more fun to me. And I've got enough of all that practical stuff. You know, you get to a point in life where you can indulge yourself a little bit because you've already got the stuff you basically need. Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you folks? How much are the big bookends?
Oh, I would like to get 20 for the pair.
20 for the pair? You know, I'll take them. They're great.
They are nice.
Yeah. Now that means I got to go to the car. So those big Onyx bookends had to go in my car. They said they got them at an estate sale in Lexington. And I'm starting to learn about big and heavy. Don't schlep it cross country. Buy it when it is where you are in the place that you have to sell it and leave it there. So they are going in the car. They are going to the antique mall space at Twin Lakes, and they are likely going to sell pretty fast. Well, there's a big candelabra on that table, so that gets my interest. All the crystals seem to be there. It's certainly fancy. Interesting old doll there. 1930s Japan. I don't really get the bear sombrero. 1930s Sharon pattern. This is an intaglio pattern where it's pressed in rather than on the surface. Usually the impression was done so the pattern was raised. Kentucky Derby. Cute little pink elephant. Be fun for a barware collection. I bet that's not going to cost much. Nice piece of wattware. Ray Dunn. $8 is probably a good price on that just because of the size and the shape. Greenville's amazing because of this flea market. It's really a little town in the middle of nowhere, but it's fairly centrally located to a large area. And so for the Memorial Day and Labor Day meets, they get dealers from Nashville, they get dealers from the Lexington, Louisville area, they get dealers from Indiana. It's pretty impressive, really. These are African trade beads. You don't see any clay on the inside, so that's an indication. They're cool, though. They were all over the place in the late 80s and early 90s. I had a few strands myself. Probably still do somewhere. Kentucky Derby glasses. This enamelware is lightweight and newer. See the chain attachments. I believe that's made in Mexico, and it's cute. Aladdin lamp, but no finial to match. This is a Chicago World's Fair tray here. I've sold this before.
$30.
Lucky Strike boxes in great shape for $25 each. USN belt here.
I hate to call him ugly, man.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's wood, hand carved.
Oh, is he wood?
Yeah, you can check it out. It's cool.
Well, I
It's
kind of
something
did, but
back.
I don't know.
200 on the carved head. I think that's from Indonesia, actually.
Right.
Some old decoys. He's got some cool stuff. His prices aren't super cheap. I think I'm going to go ahead and get that World's Fair piece because I've got a customer who really is enjoying Chicago World's Fair, as am I, and I haven't had that piece in a long time.
Glass?
Allen's Foot Ease.
Made of crushed glass. So, yeah,
1870s Ziegler little baby booties. Aw, aren't those cute?
in the 1870s, a pair of shoes. And this lady had them. She said that they were in her family. And
Yeah?
I want like $30 for them. But
They're really cute. He's got some good new old stock stuff. I mean, you see this fairly often, but it's really clean, and it's a neat graphic. Cool stuff in this space. $150 on the Falstaff clock. I expect those prices these days. This lights up too. More local. 1973. They were just cheap stuff at their time, but they are collectible now for sure. I've always liked this pressed metal that looks like mosaic. And aren't those cute? A plump wife and a full barn never did a man any harm, Amish country. I don't think the Amish made that. Tom's potato chips. This guy does have good stuff. Some dealers who bring pretty good things that do other flea markets come to this, but they oftentimes know what they got. Fire Chem Lab. I bet this is money. It's a good look. How much is the fire bucket?
20. That thing's really old.
Yeah. Would you do just a couple bucks off, like 18?
Do 18.
Okay, I'll take it. Well, I love the fire bucket I got. If you want to be quick about making friends with antique dealers and flea market dealers especially, bring a lot of 1s and 5s and offer to make change for them because they almost never have enough. And I just gave that guy 10 1s, and you would have thought that it was the Holy Grail, and he gave me $2 off on the fire bucket, and I thought, well, if that was easy, and you know, I did him a favor and he did me a favor. All right, these folks have new stuff, old stuff, and in-between stuff. I like the little drums. Let's see what the price on the two of those are. $35. Yeah, that's not bad. They're professional doggos, after all. These glasses from the 60s with classic cars at that time. Lots of bottles. One coffee jar. Coffee does better for me. No, not the right lid, though. That's a problem. That little kid needs to stop smoking before he burns the chair down. Sign letters and numbers are good. You can spell things with them. So people will buy these. They got boxes full. Bunch of old footballs. Some nice seasoned baseball gloves. Just a lot of stuff in general, but I don't see anything I really have to own. Some cute stuff here. There's a coal shuttle. A lot of brass. Brass really is popular again now, so this is a smart thing. And I have to say, I really like this box. I'm not sure if you could clean that up very easily, but oh, the turtle is neat too, yes. And that 70s Partridge Family blocky picture in the toasted almond, the burnt orange, and the harvest gold. That could not be more 70s. And it is $18, which makes sense. She's also got a lot of really nice linens, and they're really well taken care of, it looks like. We'll come around here and take a look at a few of these. Be helpful. That is sure cute. That looks like it's printed on. And there's pillowcases. It's always nice when you can find a pair of unsewn pieces that you can finish. Whole bunch of nice unfinished ones for those people who are still doing that sort of thing. All you have to do is hem it up. Roastisserie. Yes, that looked like it would definitely fry your chicken. We are definitely in the era of the plastic sign because, you know, a lot of these are 40 years old and logos change, and this is what we have now. We didn't do enameled signs after probably the 1960s or early 70s at the latest. These two together would make a great table. Or if you had a very small area, say you had a couple of kids and each one needed a little work desk. These are right out of the 50s. Yeah, I think those are pretty great, actually. Good style, good shape. If I had a place to accommodate any large furniture right now, I'd be tempted. They're just something someone made at home out of plywood back in the day. Now, this guy gets great stuff. He knows he has good stuff, and he prices it mainly like good stuff. But it'll be fun to look, and I have bought from him before. Jersey Farms, that's a neat clock. With the milk on the 12, 3, 6, and 9. Seal and grease, seal out dirt. More coffee tins. QB and Old Judge are brands I haven't heard of, and Old Judge is irradiated. Oh, that must be great. Things with big words we don't understand are a great idea. That was the motto of the 50s. Green River Whiskey. This is very famous around here. Whiskey without a headache. She was bred in Old Kentucky, and this one has the actual distillery frame from Owensboro. It needs some restoration, but that's a pretty neat piece. Well, the Green River Whiskey sign was $1,800 asking, but, you know, it's big and mostly in good shape. I would want it to be restored for that price. This is when this symbol meant good luck. This is well before the Second World War. This would be by a Midwestern pottery. It's got a crack here, though. 1938 Mississippi. They were doing screen print long before a lot of other states because it was cheap. Cap rockets. He does have fun stuff. These gasoline gauges were necessary in old cars. This one says it's for a Ford, probably a Model, yep, 1926 Model T and Model A. You don't see a whole lot of these anymore. That's nice because it's got the thermometer. Nice Coca-Cola clock with the bow tie, or the pinch sides. He's got lots of pocket knives. All right, a bunch of cast iron. Nicely seasoned. In Kentucky, this means expensive. I'm not even going to bother. Oh, wait, as soon as I say that, this is only $7.50, but it's a no-name. He's got a great Wagner drip with the skillet cover. Drip drop is good. The Dutch oven with the concentric rings. He's got some nice stuff. The anvil is real. Everything else you're seeing here is fake. Big filing marks. Prison made, yeah, too perfect. And it's Leavenworth. I mean, that just doesn't happen. These are painted badly. This is glossy painted. Look at the bad construction here. Big gaps between the things. More filing marks. Don't want any of that. There's a collapsible cup that I haven't seen with that lid with the canoe. It's a little collapsed, unfortunately, but kind of neat. One thing cool about it being Memorial Weekend is that the cool cars are out. We've got a 60 Chevy here and a couple of 55, 56 era. This is a Biscayne. This was actually the cheap car back then. We'll see if it's a 60 because, yes, it has the pointy taillights in the back, not the huge teardrops of 59, which were not a sales success. These little mini trucks made out of sedans were popular in the late 30s when money was short, and this is probably about a 1939 Ford. Cute idea and very collectible now. And then there's this if your nostalgia is more for the 80s. Or if you like the car to be the size of the house, well then a Lincoln Town Car might be up your alley. This is very 80s. Frankenstein is a cute little dune buggy. Oh yes, they take the theme all the way. That would be fun to go out bombing around in. Chevy El Camino, this is a 1960s era model. That is a classic and it seems to be in great shape. Some people will bring family and some probably even camp here over the weekend, I imagine. These folks are a general line dealer. They come every year just to this show. I see some old things like I always do in their space, so we'll take a moment. Yes, the cookie kettle is an American bisque jar. You can tell by that pattern, that very distinct shape. That is not one of the more popular cookie jars now, although it was very, very, very popular in its day. This looks like McCoy's drip glaze. Oh, Robinson Ramsbottom. See, so many companies did drip glaze over the years. This could be a mix. I think this one is Hull. Looking at the design of the top. Yes, that's the Crestone line. Came in 6 different colors. I prefer the greens, personally. It's hard to find butter servers that are not really oiled out from use. So this might be the piece to buy. If you were going to buy anything and put it online or sell it in your real-world mall, I would think that would go first. This one is a little newer. These holy name little shrines for the home. With the Last Supper shown, they would have had candles and such there, and they're missing a couple of sconces. But these can be fairly valuable, over $100 in good shape. Let's see what else they have that looks old. I like the little caddy here. Oh yes. We don't see this one as much as the bigger ones, but this one's actually a better size, so I think we might buy him. You put your pipe or your keys or whatever, or your change there, and everything else in that. Snoopy, Bart Simpson, Salty and Peppy, some restaurant wear, but this is newer. I think it's Homer Laughlin, and you'll see the newer label on the back. Best China. The Make It toy apparently didn't make it, but I think that this 1930s toy is basically a Tinker toy ripoff. It's cute. Made in Granite City, Illinois. That's where Jeffrey of Real Nifty Vintage is from. These are Fostoria, and they say so right on it. This is a early 60s label. This is 24% lead crystal in the Kimberly pattern. Now, if you don't leave liquids in crystal for long periods of time, if you just have a toast and drink your wine and move on, you probably won't get much lead exposure from using those. If you leave it in the decanter for months and months, well, that's probably not a good idea. Universal Statuary, 1974. Yes, I remember these being something that grandparents bought when I was a kid. I'm not sure if there's a collector now or not. This has a chip. It's a homemade one, but I would buy that because people like that look now. These are very formal and appear to be Japanese. This neatly shaped trunk is interesting because this would have been on the back of a car, I believe. We're going to take a look at the label. It says it's by the L.E. Morrison and Company, but it says trunks, leather goods, and traveling bags. Well, trunks on cars are called trunks because originally they essentially were a trunk slapped onto the back of a horseless carriage. This one is shaped in a way that makes me think it went on the back of a vehicle. Oh, wow. Oh, she's great. Oh my gosh, I really like that. 1860s?
Okay.
Yeah, wow. And that's really nice. It's got such a good primitive look. And I like the nails. It looks like something my dad would have done. Just keep putting nails into it until it holds together.
All the bags are not goodies for the day.
Oh, that's great. Well, I have a few too, so I'm glad that we had some fun. Yeah. Sorry, you just happened to come up when I was filming, so you get to be on. That's how that works. They definitely are getting out some older things. Little Red Riding Hood. Battery-operated Little Touch and Sew. This is 70s. Standard Little Touch and Sew. There it is out of the box. It's got the box, which is the great part, and the manual. And it says that you can get a little typewriter, a turntable, and a sewing box. Oh yes, I've seen that sewing box 8 million times. So apparently they got the message across. A nice cloth tape. That's, by the way, if you're going around and you're measuring stuff, take a cloth tape. Don't take metal tapes. It's easy to accidentally chip or scratch things, and then you're in trouble. It's happened to me, believe me. If the color was a little stronger, those would be good. And these are chair pads. Would be useful if you had a couple of those chairs. Okay, there's some cool repurposing. I like the rebar made into the spider. I guess that could hold a cook pot, like that thing. And these guys are really great too, made out of the springs. Someone's selling springs right down the road, so you could take this on. Or you could just call this guy and he'll make what you want and do all the work for you. She wins the Creepy Doll of the Day award. I think she may have been at a crime scene, and I suspect she did it. Old Victorian clock in need of complete reassembly. SWAT, that was a very popular TV show for a while. We do see instruments when we go to these shows. This looks like it's handmade. No, it actually is a professionally done one by Serenade. It's $85. It looks like it was a basic model, but I like the cutout. I wonder what the sound's like.
I like mine.
It needs to be tuned, but actually it seems like a pretty complete 1930s or 40s guitar. Interesting, it has the violin cutouts for the sound holes. That'll give it a little different tone. If you're a fancy guy, you can wear button covers with buffalo nickels stuck to them. This looks like a perpetual calendar. These can sell. This looks like it's advertising some institution. And these are perpetual because you just change the pre-printed calendar to whatever suits, given what year it is. And then you tuck it all back in, which if you have two hands is a much easier feat than it is trying to do it while recording. Let's see if we can manage it. Yay. Okay. There you go. Great product demo. But that is a perpetual calendar.
You'll remember who this is.
$6. That might just be worth it. Well, 3 productive hours at Flea Market. I am very excited to bring this to you. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help. And we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.